The worst thing when you're a content creator is when you lose your footage or when your equipment malfunctions and you just want to start over completely, or you just want to give up on the idea altogether. Well, this is my DJI Action 2, and this camera is the one that I use when I make all of my point of view street photography walks. And I actually was really lucky when I got this. I got it during a Black Friday sale for about $200, and at the time, these were selling for about $600 in Australia, and even the store employee was like really confused about that. But that's not to say that it's perfect, and though I enjoy using it, it is a really subtle action camera that just magnetizes to your chest. I do want to upgrade to the Action 4 just because, you know, I do think that that is a better camera now. It's newer, it's got better things in it, and I'm already sort of beginning to waffle on about things that don't really matter. So let's talk more about why I'm making this video. If you don't know, the DJI Action 2 is actually a really simple camera. It actually only has just one single button on it right here at the front, which turns it on and basically starts recording and also turns it off when you hold it. And then everything else that you do is done by a touch screen on the back. And it's actually very responsive. I really enjoy it. It's very simple to use. Really impressive little camera. Now, I did get it with the add-on battery pack, which comes with your USB, your micro USB slot. So that way I've got extra power and I have got extra memory, because this has about a 30 odd gig internal memory. And I use it for nearly about everything. But one of the things that I came across on a recent walk of mine, which you may have seen recently uploaded and it cut out very short, is when it's hanging from your chest, sometimes, depending on what shirt you're wearing, and I didn't know this at the time, totally user error on my point, but the sensor for the touch screen on the back started to register skin, I guess, from my chest, and it started to interact with the touch screen and started to do this. I might even just go and check and walk along the actual water edge in case there's anything interesting down below. If it's not too interesting, you'll know because I'll cut us over to that building over there and I'll talk about that in a second. The camera is zooming in sporadically before settling on a place where it is zoomed in so much that the rest of that walk is really kind of ruined. It's zoomed in so much that you don't really get a sense of where I am, what I'm doing, and it's just not a very pleasing image to watch for, you know, another 5 minutes of that video. And really it equated to about another 30 minutes of footage that I'd taken. On top of that, I had all these photos that I really enjoyed taking, and for me, the tail end of my videos generally will have better photos because now I've spent the whole walk getting into the mood and, you know, training my eye for the focal length that I'm using and really just getting into photography. And then I start to forget about this, and that's sort of where the magic happens. You know, and I came home and I put everything into, you know, Lightroom, and I edited all the photos before I checked the footage, because that's not the next step for me. My steps are get home, transfer it all into folders, organize it, edit the photos, then go to make the video. So that way everything gets its time. And by this time it was the next day and I'd gone off to the library to sit down and edit. It's a lot. And it got me thinking about how, you know, normally when this happens, I'd say, oh, well, bugger it all. We'll never see those photos. I might post a few on Instagram. But, you know, by now you've seen I've started to sort of layer them through the video, and I'll continue doing that because I do want to show them. I don't want to give up on these photos. I actually think they're pretty good. And it got me thinking about all of the unseen footage or the unseen failures that, you know, a lot of content creators probably go through that we don't often see on social media. And so I wanted to make this video as a way to say, hey, you know, it's okay. Even though a shoot, a video, walk, or whatever you're doing, a plan didn't go to plan and it all sort of failed, it doesn't ruin the photo shoot, because the photos that I've got, they came out really great. There was a lot of intention there. I went out with this idea of I'm going to use my 35mm in the, you know, sunset, that golden hour, but I'm not going to go into the city. I'm going to walk along the waterfront, and I'm going to really look for different photos that are quieter. And so the intention was still there. The photos came out great. It's just the footage lacked because of user error. You know, I know that on this thing now I can lock the screen, but I didn't do that. And so I suffered for my own mistake. Photography to me is a creative outlet. It's a way that I get to connect with, well, all of you, but also other creatives that I am friends with. It's a way that I get to, you know, make something out of nothing, and I go out in the afternoons and the mornings and the nights, and it's a little bit therapeutic. It's a time where I get to breathe and take in the world around me. And to not be able to share that in the way that I want to, just because, you know, user error didn't lock my screen, just feels a little bit silly. To give up these photos that I've taken purely because the video didn't come out that great seems like a little bit of a waste of time and a waste of creativity. And so, you know, I'm going to learn from my mistakes, and I just want to encourage you, you know, don't go out and come back and have one little mistake or even a decently large mistake ruin your entire day. You know, you can build from this and you can learn from it, just like, you know, I'm going to learn from this silly mistake. This really is just a reminder for me, as much as it is a little bit of advice for anyone out there. Just make sure your things are set and ready to go before you head out for the day. Make sure your camera settings are how you like them. Make sure that your batteries are charged, your memory cards are formatted, that if you've got a little action camera that's touchscreen on the back, make sure that that screen's locked when you don't need to be using it. And, you know, it's just going to save you a bit of a headache in the future. But don't give up on your photos. If the footage isn't there to support it, you can find a creative way to present that to people, even if you are just showing them on screen and talking about what you're thinking at the time. There's a lot of ways to present your images, whether it's just on Instagram or making videos about it. So don't just throw them away because the day didn't go well. So look, I hope that this has helped anyone, or at least you've got a good laugh at the blunder of mine. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.